Welcome. Thank you for joining today. My name is Melissa, and I'm here to lead you through yoga. We will practice all levels yoga for 45 minutes. Just a reminder to listen to your body through the practice today. If any stretches don't work for you, you can always skip them, come out and modify. And things that you will need for your yoga practice today, you may want to have a yoga mat, and it might be nice to have the block and the blanket close by. So if you don't have those, that's perfectly okay. We can definitely work around them through the class. But if you like a little added extra support in some of the poses, it could be really nice to have that handy. So let's get started down in seated position today. We'll come into a pose called Sukhasana, which means the happy seat or the easy seat. And for this one, happy seat, easy seat, just make sure that the knees are feeling okay. So the legs don't have to be crossed in this pose. If it feels more comfortable, legs can extend out in front of you. You can always have your knees bent, sit back on the heels as well. And you can always come down into your back too. So we just want to have our body at ease on this one. Now let's get started with a little release on our shoulders. So bring your shoulders up to the ears, create a nice large circle and relax your shoulders as you exhale. Take a breath in, draw your shoulders up, back, down. And one more time here. Take the shoulders up, back, and down. Great. Now that the shoulders are a little bit more relaxed, let's take a moment to close the eyes, to drop into a little bit of a centering, to release the day so far, to drop into our body, and to drop into our breath. And then just taking some time here to connect to the physical body. Notice where your body is touching the ground, edges of legs, edges of feet, grounding through the sitting bones. Begin to lengthen the spine, lengthen the back of the neck, reach and stretch through the crown of the head. Drop in and connect to the rise and the fall of your breath. Lengthening as you inhale, lengthening as you exhale. And then maybe encouraging the exhale to be a little bit longer than the inhale. And then just taking a moment here as you breathe. Just feeling the breath flowing in and flowing out through your nose. So breathing in and out through the nose helps to keep the mind, body calm, relaxed, and at ease. When we breathe through the mouth, we can activate fight or flight and create a bit of angst in the body and the mind. This inhaling and exhaling through the nose is very calming to the nervous system. So be mindful of carrying this inhale and exhale through the nose with you through our class today. So I know sometimes it's so tempting to, focus on getting the deepest stretch and then to forget about the breath or to breathe in through the mouth because it's a little easier. But take this time to gently train your body so that you can really receive all of the benefits of yoga. Let's take a moment to set an intention. So it might be that you want to relax today or you're holding tension in a particular part of your body. So there's really no right and there's no wrong intention. Lowering your chin to your chest, gently letting your head hang heavy here. And right ear to the right shoulder for a little neck stretch. Back to center, chin to your chest, head to the left, back to center, Circle the head. So maybe find large circles and maybe find smaller circles here. Circle in the other direction. So just reverse that movement. And then bringing this movement into the torso. So begin to gently shift the weight around from side to side. And this will be a great movement for getting into the low back, getting into the mid into the upper back, and also really great for getting into the sides of the body a little bit. And reverse will flow in the other direction. And stillness. Let's come on forward into table. And as you come into table, if you'd like, you may want to grab a blanket to give a little padding to the knees. And bringing your knees, your hips in line. We'll take our wrists, our shoulders in line, and feel the fingers fan out nice and wide on this one. So from here, we're going to work a little bit with a flow for thread the needle. So this is going to be a wonderful stretch for your shoulders and for your neck. And it can be so beneficial if you feel like you've been sitting at the desk for too long and you're rounding forward a little bit. It really can help to elongate the spine, open the chest and the heart. So it brings us lots of positive benefits for our body. Right hand will extend to the sky. Take a nice deep full breath here. And draw the arm underneath the body. So we're going to take just a moment here to relax the head down. And bring your hand back on up to the sky. So we'll just create a sweeping movement. Hand reaches and stretches up. And release the arm underneath your body. And let's go 3 more times here with the breath. So hand to the sky, reach up, stretch up, and release. And then just finding your own rhythmic flow here. So each breath you find length, and inhale, lengthening, exhale, lengthening. Now let's take that opportunity to pause. You can relax your arm down and just relax the head down for a moment. So as we pause here, we are going to take that nice opening up for the shoulder and for the neck. Find a drishti, find that one spot to focus your concentration, to focus your awareness. And once you find that spot, not letting the eye shift at all. So from this pose, you can stay right where you're at. So this would be a great place to hang out in, get a little bit more flexibility in the body. But if you wanted to challenge yourself, left hand can rise to the sky. And whether the hand is up or down, doesn't matter. You could straighten out your left leg. So maybe have your toes on the ground and just give yourself a nice calf stretch and hamstring stretch. You can lift your leg on up to the sky and maybe have the foot lifted and have your hand rising up. And there's also a variation where you take your hands to meet the foot. So you could try out a little bind here. And just finding that spot to focus on. It's kind of common to fall out of this one, to roll to the right. So you can always check to make sure there's no props or anything like that you're going to fall onto. We are going to come up nice and slow. So let's take our knee down, hand down. And then as you come on out, bring your right hand up to the sky and circle that shoulder. So maybe just feel how that shoulder just feels more open and expansive. You can feel probably the circulation and the blood flowing. And reverse, we'll float in the other direction. And release. Let's take ourselves into a table position. We are going to press into a child's pose. And then as you come forward, we're going to float into a little upward facing dog. So a nice soft up dog. So gently lower the hips down, open up the chest and the heart. And let's press those hips on back. Child's pose as you exhale. Breathing here. Let's gently soften the hips forward, open the chest, open the heart. Hips to the heels, heart softens down. And flow with the breath here. Lengthen as you inhale. Lengthen as you exhale. Good. And this is just such a nice warm up for the spine for the practice. Let's go one more time. Hips to your heels, heart softens down, heart opens for that upward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. And let's take it into table here. Left hand extends to the sky. Nice deep full breath in. Let's open up the shoulder on the other side. Left arm goes under. You can relax your head down. Maybe find that spot to focus on for a moment. Reset yourself back on up. We'll plant the hand down. Left hand rises. Full breath. And arm relaxes down. Let's soften. Flowing with your breath 3 more times. So the nice thing about linking the breath and movement is it really helps us to drop into the present moment. Gives us that opportunity to connect with our body as well. And release. We're going to pause ourselves down in that thread the needle stretch. Finding your spot to focus on. And then you can decide where you want to go. So maybe lift your right hand to the sky. Right leg can curl under. Have your toes lifted. Maybe having that foot on up to the sky if you wanted. Maybe hand for the foot. You could take out a bind if you wanted here. And then coming back to that breathing exercise we worked with at the beginning of our practice. So just really focus on inhaling and exhaling through the nose. I'm sure if you're really trying to concentrate, it just might be so easy to default to that inhale and exhale through the mouth. Let's come on out. We're going to take our knee down, hand down. Left hand rises up. Let's float it into that nice circular movement. And reverse. And tabletop. Let's prop up into a down dog. So toes curl under, sitting bones to the sky. And let's shake it out a little bit here. So maybe bend one knee and bend the other knee. And relax your head, yes. Relax your head, no. And try to feel really grounded in the hands, grounded in your feet. Let's bring ourselves into a forward fold from here. So we'll walk our toes to our hands. Shake it out in your forward fold. So maybe bend one knee, bend the other knee. Relax your head, yes. Relax your head, no. As you come into stillness here, let's take ourselves into a half lift. Fold yourself to the mat. Let's bring it on up. We'll rise for mountain. And hands at the heart as you exhale. Coming into a chair pose from here. So we'll bring our feet in line with our hips. Have your toes point straight forward. Drop your hips back and down, and hands can reach to the sky. So sending the weight back into the heels, let the toes be light and almost create a little sensation like the toes could lift from the mat. Now let's try a balancing chair pose. So for this one, we're going to come right up onto our tippy toes. So we'll have our heels lifting up And the knees don't have to come together, but almost imagine that you could squeeze maybe a tennis ball between the knees. And then same thing with your heels. They don't have to touch, but maybe imagine you could squeeze a tennis ball between your heels. Now let's take our left heel down onto the mat. We'll take the right leg on up. We'll try a variation of crane pose from here. So lifting that knee in line with your hip, and arms are super active here. Let's take that right foot back and we'll come into a crescent warrior. So as you take crescent here, feel your right leg really active. So we want to press nice and firm through the heel and the back of the knee, trying to feel that your leg is active, engaged, and energized. So we'll work a little bit with a twist here. So taking your hands to the sky, nice deep full breath as you inhale, holding crescent, and then working with this nice twist to the left on the exhale. Come back on through to center, hands to the sky, full breath in, and twist. Let's try 3 more times here. Good. Let's put ourselves back on through, aligning in crescent, and then setting up for warrior one. So you can pop that right foot to the right if you need to. Have your back heel grounded and planted down. Have your back foot at a 45-degree angle. Hands to the sky, nice deep bend in your front knee, hips, shoulders square forward. Core engages on this one. Now let's straighten out our front leg. We'll take our arms alongside the body and palms face forward. Inhale, let's bring those hands right on up to the sky. Straighten the leg, float the arms down, good. We'll go into a little flowing warrior one pose. Great. From here, let's bring ourselves down into a runner's lunge. So you'll spin right up onto the toes of your right foot. Bring your left foot to meet your right foot, finding your way into plank. Try out a high push-up pose here. Knees up or down, whichever you prefer. Lower down, chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Let's get that nice, deep, low back bend. Down dog, breathe out. Toes to the hands, let's come on forward to a forward fold. Halfway lift, fold down. Let's rise on up, mountain pose. And hands at the heart as you exhale. Chair pose, feet in line with hips, dropping the hips back and down. So with a chair, it's really nice because if you wanted to make that stretch more intense, you could have a very deep bend in your knees. And if you wanted to have it be a bit easier, you can straighten out those legs a little bit more. Let's come right up onto our tippy toes, balancing chair pose. Again, imagine that you could squeeze the tennis ball between the knees and tennis ball between those heels, the backs of your feet. Good. Let's take our right foot down, left leg rises, variation of crane. Make sure that your hips are even on this one. We don't want that left hip to rise up too much on that one. Let's take it back, crescent warrior, float it back. And then as you take crescent, try to breathe into your stomach, ribs, chest. Releasing from the chest, ribs, stomach. Let's open it up. We will try out that twist. So twisting off to the right. Full breath in. Let's rise to crescent. Exhale, twist. 3 more times with the breath. And back to stillness. Let's come back on through to our crescent. Warrior one. So hop your left foot to the left. Ground nice and firmly into the back heel. Get your calf stretch, get your hamstring stretch. Straighten that front leg. Arms alongside the body, palms face forward. Let's come on forward, back on through, and release. Creating your own rhythmic flow here. Back on through. Let's take warrior one. Virabhadrasana Eka. We'll float the hands down. Take it to runner's lunge. Bring yourself back into plank. High push up. As you find plank, Chaturanga Dandasana. Upward facing dog. And downward facing dog. Let's try a pose called rock star. So for rock star, bring your right foot underneath your body. Kick your right foot off to the left side of your mat. So you'll roll into the outer edge of your right foot, inner edge of your left foot, and then left hand rises to the sky with the breath. Try to feel your top hip lifting up to the sky with each breath that you take. Coming back into a three-limb dog, let's bring that right leg right on up to the sky. And then right foot takes a nice big step forward, and let's open into a warrior two pose. So as you align in warrior two, get really grounded in the feet. Almost imagine that the feet were magnets and they were drawing in towards one another. So their feet won't actually move, but we do want to create this sensation in our body. Straighten your front leg. Let's bring those arms up to the sky and release. Inhale, reach up, stretch up, and down. 3 more times. Back on through warrior two. Let's take reverse, float it up and float it back. So that left hand can glide on the left leg. Maybe wrap your arm around your low back. Reach for the other hip crease. Take a half plank here. Core engages. Let's come on through. Right arm to right leg, lateral angle. And maybe extended lateral angle here. Maybe lower the hand down to the ground. And just try not to collapse here into the bottom shoulder. Create a little lift here and a little bit of lengthening here. Core engages. Let's bring it on up. Reverse, float it up, float it back. We'll do a little windmill down. Let's come to a lateral angle. Core engages, rise on up. Up and back, reverse. Core engages, float it down. Lateral angle. Let's go 2 more times, forward and backward. Good, let's bring ourselves back on through. We'll land in a warrior two pose. Windmill the hands down, runner's lunge. Left leg rises, standing splits pose. And in standing splits, maybe look at the wall behind you. Maybe take your gaze to the ceiling up behind your body. As you exhale, let's bring our knee into our nose. We'll do a round and a crunch. Float your leg up and back. Exhale, round. Up and back. And 3 more times here. Back on through to standing splits. Now we'll release into a fold with our legs crossed. So you'll take your left foot to the right side of your yoga mat. Line your toes up, line your heels up, and then fold over the fronts of the legs as you exhale. Working with a yogi squat to the back of our yoga mat. So to get there, let's take our hands to the left. Lift up your heels, but then just spin on the toes and spin on the balls of the feet. So we'll just land in a forward fold facing the back of our yoga mat. Feet come out nice and wide, toes turn out, heels shift in, and sink the hips back and down. We call this one Malasana, Garland's pose, yogi squat. So for this one, if you need to modify, rolled up blanket, take that right underneath your heels. Maybe sit on a block. So you have a bunch of different options here. Let's take ourselves forward to that forward fold. Walk your hands to the left. So we're going to complete a full circle here. So this is where we will lift up our heels, spin on the toes, spin on the balls of the feet. You're going to spin yourself so that you're framing the front of your yoga mat once again in a fold with your legs crossed. Line your toes up, line your heels up, and fold over the fronts of the legs as you exhale. Right foot steps back into plank. Left foot steps back into plank. As you take plank, lower down chaturanga, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Let's try our rock star on the other side. So left foot threads under your body to the right side of your yoga mat. Come on to the outer edge of your left foot, inner edge of your right foot, right hand to the sky. Feel both of your legs straight. Top hip rises up. Top hand rises to the sky as well. Reset, 3-limb dog. And then nice big step forward. Let's take that left foot forward. Warrior 2 pose. So alignment on warrior 2. Maybe gaze down. Make sure that you can see the big toe. So we want our knee to truck in line with the second and the third toe. I'm saying this because we don't want our knee to shift into the center too much. It's not good alignment for that knee. So you may have to kind of draw it off to the right a little bit. Or off to the left rather. Sorry about that. Yes, left knee to the left. Let's try that movement. See if we can straighten out our front leg, hands to the sky, back on through. Warrior 2. Inhale, exhale. Warrior 2. Let's take reverse, load it up, float it back. And then holding this one for a moment. So try to feel the palm of your left hand facing down towards the ground so you get a nice rotation on the shoulder. Float yourself down, almost like a little cartwheel or windmill down. Lateral angle, maybe extend it, give that one a try out. Create a little twist sensation on this one. Try to roll that right shoulder back, left shoulder under, right hip back, left hip under. Rising up, full breath here. Reverse. Lateral angle. Back on through. Let's come to warrior 2 pose. Let's windmill the hands down. Bring it into a runner's lunge. From runner's lunge, forward fold with the legs crossed. So right foot takes that big step forward to the upper edge of the left side of the yoga mat. Your legs are crossed. Toes are in line, heels are in line. Let's walk our hands to the right. We'll create a half circle here. Lift the heels up. Spin on the toes, spin on the balls of the feet. So we will land in that forward fold with the legs nice and wide. Hang out here if everything's feeling okay in the knees. Let's drop it down for squat pose. And on this one, try to draw the weight back into the heels. Let your toes be light and almost create a little sensation like your toes could lift off of the mat. Let's bring ourselves forward and walking your hands off towards the right. Let's try to land in that fold with our legs crossed. Again, just lifting up the heels, spinning on the toes, spinning on the balls of the feet. Left foot takes a float back. Runner's lunge. Right foot meets left for plank. As you find plank, Chaturanga Dandasana, upward facing dog, and downward facing dog. Toes to the hands, let's come on forward into a forward fold. Halfway lift, forward fold. Mountain, let's rise on up, full breath in. Hands at the heart, nice full breath out. Great, let's try dancing Shiva. So for this one, right knee begins to rise up, fingers will interlock and gentle support to the right knee. Now, of course, if the balance is feeling a little shaky today, grab onto the wall, or if there's a chair close by, just having a little support can help to really build that balance. You can stay here, maybe right knee to the right, give yourself a little hip opener here, nice little inner leg stretch. Left hand can reach to the left, maybe index and thumb come together for Chin Mudra, Yana Mudra. Stay here if you want to build on it. Knee comes to center, we're gonna switch the hands up. So left hand grabs that right knee, give yourself a twist, gaze off your right fingertips, and maybe finding that mudra in the hands once again. So index and thumb come together. Try to relax your right shoulder from your right ear. Breathe. So we want to breathe into that nice little twist that we can experience in the stomach, ribs, and chest. Releasing from the chest, ribs, and stomach. Bring yourself back to center. Let's take that knee to the chest. Give it a nice little hug in. Feet wider than hips. Let's bring arms side to side. Empty coat sleeve stretch. And then as you're twisting side to side, maybe lifting the opposite heel up. So when you twist to the right, left heel rises, just to keep the knees nice and safe. Good. Let's give that a try on the other side, maybe a little easier. Sometimes we have our muscle memory. It can be easier when we try poses on the second side. Left knee comes on up. Holding it here. Left knee to the left. Make it a little bit more challenging if you'd like. Right hand to the right. Gaze off the right fingertips. Come back to center. Take your knee to your chest. Left knee to the right. Gaze off the left fingertips. Get that nice twist. Let's breathe into our low back, mid back, upper back. And then releasing from upper, mid, and low back. Back to center. Let's take that knee to our chest. Give it a nice little hug on in. Feet come out nice and wide. Empty coat sleeve, side to side. Great. Let's come back to stillness here. We'll find mountain. So feet are right in line with your hips. Bring your hands to the sky for an inhale. Fold yourself down on exhale. Half lift here. Plant your hands. Let's take that right foot back, runner's lunge. Left foot walks to the left edge of the mat. So both of the hands are on the inside of your foot. Setting up for lizard or gecko. So to make this stretch easier, the right knee can come down to the ground for a bit of support. Staying on your hands, if you'd like to drop down onto the forearms, you can do that as well. Most important alignment cue on this pose is to make sure that your left knee and your left ankle are in the same line. Your knee can be behind the ankle, but we just don't want it to move too far forward here. Maybe shift around a little bit. So maybe a little shift to the right and the left. Just to gently ease you into that hip opener. I know this can be a very active stretch. It can bring up quite a bit of stretching and sensation. So really try to find softness as best as you can. Maybe just notice the tension that you're holding onto. Try to let that go with each exhale. Coming up, let's press down into our hands. Right toes curl under, right knee lifts up, and right foot takes a big step to the upper right edge of the mat. So we will land in a fold with our legs very wide here. Now left foot takes a float back, runner's lunge. Walk that right foot to the right if you need to. Lizard or gecko, so stay up on the hands if you'd like. Maybe drop down onto the forearms. Maybe take forearms onto blocks. Maybe find movement on this one. Maybe find stillness. Try to close the eyes. Try to relax the eyebrows. Relax your jaw. Try to let go of tension through the back of the head and the back of the neck. Relax through the shoulders, arms and hands. Relaxing the upper, mid, and low back. Relaxing the legs. And relaxing through the feet. To come on out of this one, we are going to find our way onto table. So your right knee can meet your left knee. And you can bring your feet out or bring your knees out a little wide if you need to. And let's just circle out the hips here. Maybe find large circles. Maybe find smaller circles. And circle in the other direction. And let's bring it back into a seated position. Sweep your feet to the right or the left. Let's come down onto our backs from here. As you come down onto your back, reach for your feet. Happy baby stretch. So imagine that you could flex your feet here and imagine you could stomp your feet up on the ceiling. So let your legs be very active. Press firmly out through the heels and little rock side to side can give a little bit of a back stretch. Knees to the chest, hug them in. Little rock to the right and the left. And then as you're rocking, maybe close your eyes and just connect. So you have all of these muscles and all of these little attachments to the bones and ligaments and things like that. So it can just be almost like a little massage on here. Now let's begin to circle a bit on the low back. Maybe see if you can identify muscles that are a little tight or tense. Maybe you can identify muscles that feel more open. Circle in the other direction. And release. Let's bring ourselves into Shavasana from here. For Shavasana, legs can relax, arms can relax. If your low back is tender, you may want to take your feet out nice and wide. Let your knees drop in towards one another. Let your eyes close here. So this is a very important pose. So through our yoga class today, we did so many beneficial things for our mind and our body. So the movements, they're all good for different things. The breathing exercises are just so good for relaxing us. And in this time in Shavasana, when we're in stillness, all of the benefits can be integrated into our mind and into our body. Giving yourself a moment to deepen the breath. Maybe wriggle fingers and toes. And in this moment, just noticing how you feel. Feel your mind relax, calm, at ease. Feel your body aligned and balanced. Maybe tension that you came to class with, feel how that has released with yoga and meditation. And coming onto your side, find a fetal position. So maybe create a little pillow with the lower arm, gently support your head. Coming on up, bringing yourself into seated. And as you come into seated here, let's gently release our shoulders. Take the shoulders up to the ears, create a large circle, relax your shoulders. Inhale, exhale, one more time. Good. Gently circle your neck and head. So maybe imagine that there was a clock in front of you. The clock was lined with numbers, and you want to run your nose through all of the numbers on the clock. Circle in the other direction. And stillness, hands at heart in prayer, Anjali Mudra. Taking a moment to end our practice with gratitude. Thinking of something in your life that you are truly grateful for. The light within me honors the light within you. Namaste. Namaste, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today. I hope you feel a little more relaxed. I look forward to seeing you next class. So I will see you soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
You're welcome.